This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, and welcome back to yet another edition of Edmonton Oilers discussion here on the channel. This fine, as I'm realizing how much cat hair I've got on myself after petting the cat this morning on the couch. Anyway, it is a fine Saturday. Why? Because it's Battle of Alberta time, and we are going to see the Oilers hopefully walk away with a 4-game win streak in tow. And of course, that would be a division best, and that would also mean we could potentially be 3 to 5 points out of first place. Now, okay, that's the big headlines of Saturday. The headlines you need to know that don't pertain to the Oilers at the current moment and won't pertain to the 2020-2021 Edmonton Oilers is simply this. Dylan Holloway. What do I say about that? Well, you saw him at the World Juniors, didn't really do too much. Had top line role, second line role, third line. He was all over the place, just forechecking and just creating havoc and being on the ice when the Team Canada scored some goals in that round robin medal game, and of course not in the gold medal game because of the shutout. But that's it. Let's talk about it. Dylan Holloway, you see some stats here. These are from his time with the Wisconsin Badgers so far this year. And inconvenient but true that he has more points in 11 games than he did in 35 games total last season. My goodness, that is a heck of a year. When you can do it in a third of the time and outdo it in that third of a time, that's pretty alright. Yes, less goals, 6 goals as opposed to 8 goals, but 12 assists instead of 9. He's only had 36 shots in 11 games, but you talk about that pace. Let's just go do that pace for a second here. 35 divided by 11, that's 3.18. I'd know that if I was paying attention. Times 18, or times 36, pardon me, if I can do my math on my calculator here, right? How about 114 shots in 35 games is what he's on pace for this season. He obviously won't get there, I don't think, because of how the college season works. Still not 100% sure with that. And of course, Carter Savoy, we've been following that whole story as well. So the shot percentage, you know what? Not nearly as bad as it was last year, right? Operating at 16.7, so that'd be all right for sure. But you go calculate the goals. That would be 19 goals. That would be 38 assists. That'd be a big season out of Dylan Holloway, as I now had to mention Carter Savoy and turn myself all around. And the other side too, he's a +4 here. He's got the same amount of power play goals. He's got the same amount of game-winning goals. Dylan Holloway definitely making headlines the past, I'd say, 3 weeks with the Wisconsin Badgers. Obviously, that team includes Cole Caulfield. So, yeah, they've got some high-end, high-level talent on the team for sure. But the other side, too, is you would remember, if you follow on Twitter, Bob Stauffer, a couple of weeks ago, he tweeted out about Dylan Holloway and essentially the plan for him. He's played 2 years of college now. By the end of all this, will he turn pro this season into next? And that would be a really intriguing thing, especially with the Condors season running into a little bit later territory and, of course, running potentially into just a divisional playoff situation as well. There is a lot of room for Dylan Holloway to maybe even sneak an Oilers contract in for this year with the Bakersfield Condors and then go. I don't know how the college season ends up and stuff like that, especially if there's playoffs. Again, all beyond me at this point. I haven't been paying attention. We've had a 6-6 Edmonton Oilers team to follow after in the past 12 games here, and we've got a Battle of Alberta to pay attention to tonight. So unfortunately, as always, the college prospects fall by the wayside for me. That said, you know what? Dylan Holloway still making headlines, and obviously it's not every day I'm talking about a college prospect in the middle of an Oilers season, so this is a nice welcome change, that is for sure. Those 18 points looking stellar. He's had some big point weekends in the past 2, and of course the pro hockey stuff is important, but the other side too is there have been three Wisconsin Badgers nominated for the Hobey Baker Fan Award, or Hobey Baker Award fan vote, that being Cole Caulfield, Linus Weisbeck, and Dylan Holloway, all nominated for the Hobey Baker fan vote, and that would be huge because let me tell you, I don't actually know the stats on when the Oilers had a Hobey Baker winner last in the organization. I think Justin Schultz might have been close. That's the only real name that makes any sense to me in the time I've followed the Edmonton Oilers, but there is a lot to be considered there, absolutely, right? Is Dylan Holloway comes in, has a fantastic year in the NCAA, plays for Team Canada in an effort that just comes up short. There's a lot there to unpack with Dylan Holloway. All the while, you've got NCAA Rookie of the Month a couple of times, I think now. Mr. Carter Savoy just tearing the cover off the puck and getting the job done for Denver, the Denver Pioneers. Blanking on that name too. So there's a lot going on in the college ranks for the Oilers, and then, of course there's Michael Kesselring, I think, as well in there, and there's one of the other prospects from the 2020 draft in there. There's a lot of talent the Oilers have in the college ranks, and unlike before, especially if we can get, say, I don't know, after signing Philip Kemp, if we can sign a Dylan Holloway, sign a Carter Savoy over the next year or two, there is a lot to be considered of what has turned the page here in Oilers land. You talk about the development pipeline. One place the Oilers have failed over the past several years, 10, 15 years, is the college ranks and signing college players and that they drafted and making them play well within the system. Obviously, Justin Schultz, a failed experiment, and you talk about John Marino, and there's a list of players that go to college after being drafted by the Oilers and don't end up anywhere. But now you're starting to see under Ken Holland a much different approach, right? Get something for them if they're not going to sign, right? That 6th-round pick for John Marino, that's at least something. It's not glorious, but it's something. And the way John Marino's putting up points this year, it's actually better than nothing. And then you've got, I don't know, how about Philip Kemp signing? You've got guys like Dylan Holloway coming up. Alberta Kidd should sign with the Oilers. Who am I thinking about? Graham McPhee signing with the Bakersfield Condors. Can't forget about Graham McPhee. He's a big part of the kind of situation as well. A player that we drafted and now signing with the Oilers. And is that part Peter Chiarelli or is that all Ken Holland? And realistically, at the end of the day, I don't care where it goes. It is just a positive development for our Edmonton Oilers because it's nice to see us developing kids and bringing them into the farm system out of college, more ready players. And end of the day, if you know what, at worst they are just more professional hockey players for our guys that come into the junior or into the farm club, and they're there working their career just as hard as, say, Raphael Lavoie next year. That is welcome and that is promising. And think about Holloway and Raphael Lavoie wing on wing, forechecking in the offensive zone, trying to turn over a puck. Talk about Cahoon and Yamamoto 2.0, just bigger kids, I think, in terms of their size compared to those two at the NHL level we have now. There's a lot to like, and Dylan Holloway is a big part of that for the Edmonton Oilers. So I just wanted to just kind of ramble about the college ranks. I know this was more Dylan Holloway oriented, but I wanted to just get that ramble out there that we do have to, despite what's going on with the Oilers here, pay attention to the college ranks because it's going to be very important as to what the Oilers do over the next, say, 3, 4, 5 years, and the success we have in terms of developing prospects is going to be heavily leaned on in terms of what they do at the college level and how we integrate them into the organization. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Tyson. This is Dolynny TV. Thank you so much for tuning in this afternoon. I will talk to you before game time again. I'm sure we got to get the lines out. We got to talk. We got to get this Battle of Alberta primed up. We already did it with the Kazi and Kachuk video a couple days ago. Now it's time, showtime today, and of course the live stream later this evening. Oh my goodness, you're gonna get sick of hearing my voice today. I promise you that. I am up on out of here.